Thank you for coming down to the station tonight, Mrs. Jones. I'm Detective Inspector Chambers, and this is Inspector Ellis. Our sympathies go out to you and your family for the tragic death of your son, Pascal.
Yes, Mrs. Jones, we think we've got all the evidence in to nail the bastard that did this.
Calm down, Ellis, for heaven's sake. Do go on, Inspector. You see, Mrs. Jones, there was only ever 6 suspects, 6 murder weapons, and 6 locations ever in the frame for this heinous crime. Ellis, please do furnish Mrs. Jones with the details.
Yes, there were only ever 6 suspects. They were Mrs. Patel, Mr. Ahmed, Mrs. Wong, Mr. Badanowski, Mr. Smith, and Bruce.
What about...
Whoa.
Ellis, can you go through the murder weapons?
Yes, the forensic evidence that we obtained showed that there were six possible weapons. Excuse me. It consisted of a cricket bat, a brick, a glass, a skewer, an elephant's foot, or a frozen chicken.
Look, that's not possible. How to explain the marks on his head? Hold your horses, Mrs. Jones. You'll see quite clearly from our detailed investigation that it all fits neatly into place. Now, Ellis, can you take us through the locations?
Certainly. DNA evidence gathered from various scenes shows that it can only have taken place in 6 possible locations. We're talking about a pub, a kebab shop, a building site, a corner shop, a cricket pavilion, and a Chinese herbal medicine store.
Inspector, forgive me for asking a stupid question, but...
Shh, for fuck's sake, you stupid cow!
Ellis, what have I told you? You can't use that word, it's not politically correct. She's a woman. Call her a woman.
Look, sorry, Gov, you stupid woman!
Look, what my colleague's trying to say is that in this envelope, we've got the perpetrator who ate and butchered your son. But before we tell you that, we're going to go through how we eliminated the other suspects.
Well, it was quite obvious really. Mr. Ahmed, who runs the kebab shop, was in Mrs. Patel's corner shop at the time, holding a brick. Now this happened at the time that the offence took place.
Strangely, Mrs. Wong was in the kebab shop, holding a cricket bat at precisely the same time.
Now, from covert surveillance at the time, we were able to place Bruce, who runs the Australian theme bar, at Mrs. Wong's Chinese herbal medicine store at the time the slaughter took place.
Can I say at this point that this is...
Are you finding this hard to accept because you're a woman? You're not used to being outside the kitchen, is that it?
Ellis, you can't say that, it's sexist.
Look, I'm sorry, just don't worry your little brain about it now.
Right then, let's take stock of where we are. So we've ruled out Mr. Ahmed with the brick in the corner shop, Mrs. Wong with the cricket bat in the kebab shop, and Bruce with the meat skewer in the Chinese medicine store. And that only took us 3 weeks to work out.
Clever, eh? We just want to catch the bastard.
So having eliminated these suspects, we were able to focus on Mr. Smith, who runs the cricket pavilion. Witness statements from the night of the murder actually indicated he was at Bruce's theme bar, completely pissed up. He was found unconscious through intoxication in the women's toilet with a chicken on his head.
So then there were 2. Now at this stage it was bloody lucky really, because one of our informants came forward and said at the time Mr. Badanowski was in the cricket pavilion holding a glass. Now this happened at precisely the time the slaying of your beloved Pascal occurred.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous, is it? I'll show you what's ridiculous.
Okay, here we are. I think you'll find, after our exhaustive and detailed investigation, that we've come up trumps into the perpetrator who sodomised your son.
Are you ready for this? Can you handle the truth?
Okay, here we go. I can reveal the person who murdered your son was Mrs. Patel with the elephant's foot on the building site. But Inspector... Shh! It's alright, let us speak. I told you who the murderer was on the night of the murder. Did you? Did you? It's not in my notes. Because it wasn't Mrs. Patel, was it? I wrote it down on this piece of paper. It was Professor Plum with the candlestick in the billiard room. Well, bugger me. Who could have seen that coming?